My boyfriend and I have been dating for about a year, so we're speaking about marriage. And he had mentioned that he would never get married without a prenup. I've always been against the idea of a prenup. I do understand the logic behind them, and he's worth a lot more than I am financially. He has a lot more in assets and all of that. So I just feel like if a man says that he won't get married without a prenup, it makes me feel like it's an unsafe marriage for me to enter into because he's planning for divorce, basically, or preparing for it, if that makes sense.
Have you shared that with him? Those exact words?
Well, he said that
You hear this a lot where women will say, I feel unsafe in certain situations, and you'll question them, what made you feel unsafe? And then you'll say, but was the actual situation unsafe? Were the logistics of the situation unsafe? Was the location of the place you were at that you felt unsafe? Was that unsafe? And a lot of the times the answer is no, it was actually pretty safe. I just felt unsafe. When women say these kind of things, you have to understand that they're not coming from a realistic perspective some of the time, or even dare I say a lot of the time. They're coming from I have an ideal situation in my mind by which all the criteria are not met for that. Therefore, it is unsafe. And technically, that is how you judge an unsafe situation. Like something is off here. I don't know. Something is wrong here. A lot of the times too, that criteria can be pushed. The limits of that can be pushed to where the situation, for example, with Abba and Preach, with his ex-girlfriend, she felt unsafe when she was with him. And he was like, nah, you're leaving. I'm getting you a hotel. And she wasn't saying she was unsafe because the situation was unsafe. She was saying unsafe because she was upset. That is enough for a woman to say they're unsafe, which completely skews what unsafe or safe means now.
he feels like I'm being ungrateful because he would be willing to, take on me and my two children, and I shouldn't question. I mean, I understand that money is important, obviously, but there are things that I value more than money, and there's no amount of money that would be worth a divorce to me, or like dragging my children through a failed marriage and all of that.
She values certain things more than money. I got to listen to that again because she's saying a lot of contradicting things when you put it together. Money is not what I value the most, yet I will leave a prime situation that I benefit greatly from because he wants to protect his money. I got to go back. I
mean, I understand that money is important, obviously, but there are things that I value more than money, and there's no amount of money that would be worth a divorce to me, or like dragging my children through a failed marriage and all of that.
Is this second marriage for both of you or one of you?
It's a second marriage for me. I was married young. This is his first marriage. He's never been married.
And you have one child, you said?
I actually have two. So I had a second child. She just turned 3.
Okay. Not with him though, correct?
Right.
With this boyfriend. Okay. So how much more is he worth than you, would you say?
The number that he gave me was $2 million, like between retirement and asset. He says it wouldn't be fair if we were to get divorced. It wouldn't be fair for me to get half of everything he's worked for. And I understand the logic, and I'm not saying I want half of everything. I'm saying I don't want to go into this marriage like talking about divorce.
I don't think he's necessarily in the wrong, because I will be honest, our teaching around prenups, it kind of varies a little bit. Like we don't really have a hardcore teaching. Where I do think he's wrong, and what I get the ick about is the way he's responding to you in it. And it makes you,
I guess maybe they cut these parts out because I didn't hear anything crazy that he's responding to her. Secondly, this is a second party recollection on the situation. And remember, she's upset and she doesn't feel safe in the context of him bringing up a prenup. And so why in the world would she tell you logically, word for word, everything that he said, where it may not play to her perspective? Because remember, her perspective is she feels upset. And his perspective is, logically speaking, this makes sense. And so she can't verbalize her upsetness against his logic. Therefore, she has to coat his words in her upsetness so that it's more palpable for the audience to say, you know what? Yeah, he might have a point there, but you know what? He didn't communicate that right. he's wrong for that. No, he's right, but he's got to be wrong for something here because you're upset. See, this is the problem I have with the safe, unsafe thing, because now she's the victim of him actually potentially being a victim at the hands of the government. This is problematic. And Rachel Cruz already has the ick. Are you sick? Do you need to go to the hospital? What's wrong with you? What's the ick?
You feel like he's valuing his money over you. That's the problem that I have, right? His response to you at the beginning of this call, what you said, I was like, oh my gosh, that's why I asked, like, is this how he is? Because he kind of sounds like a little bit of a jerk, right? Versus someone that's going to take care of you, where you're like, I don't like the way this is making me feel. And I wish he came with some empathy on the table.
Hold on. Versus someone who's going to take care of you. Remember, this is a guy who's getting married for the first time, taking care of someone else's 2 children that she's going to boss him over. One of the problems with men getting married or getting into a relationship with women who have children already is more than likely that woman is not going to allow you authority over those children because it feels unsafe. You're marrying this guy. If you're not allowing him to have authority over your kids, then why in the world, how the heck are you going to get married? How's the marriage going to work? And a lot of guys settle for this. A lot of guys say, you know what, it is what it is. It's her kids. I want her. I'll get into the situation. But then how is she going to say that he's actually not taking care of her because he has standards? I actually don't understand what's going on here. I don't know if she's trying to like empathize and not make her out to be the villain because she's on national air. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's really weird.
I completely understand how this does kind of feel off. Here's where I'm at, right? Like if he like met you in the conversation with it and valued you in it, I think you may be feeling better.
The prenup is a tool. It's not.
I have a wife. And so when she says, I understand how you feel, anyone and everyone can understand how she feels. The girl on the call, anyone and everyone can understand how she feels. But does how she feels make sense to the situation at hand? You know, back in the day, they used to arrange marriages. And marriages were arranged based on, you know, of course, do you like the guy? And then secondly, but more importantly, what are the logistics to this marriage? Is he going to be able to take care of you? Is he going to be able to provide for you? Is he stable? Does he show that he has some kind of assets? Does he show that he has some kind of competence? What family does he come from? What is their family status? What is their name? Any reputation? Does he have like there are all kinds of things that go into the logistics of an arranged marriage, because it's the parents or an elder or someone older or someone qualified arranging that marriage for you. And then we get into a situation like this where someone's like, yeah, I feel the ick. And yeah, I feel like I am unsafe because he wants to protect his money. Do you have it? Because a lot of people will say, if you're trying to establish a prenup, that means that you're planning for a divorce. Doesn't make much sense, but I get it. But here's the counterpart. If you have a problem with the prenup, are you saying you're preparing for a divorce in the future? Because now we have to ask the question. If you're putting him on the back foot, now we have to put you on the back foot. The question goes both ways. So why not accept the prenup and then work hard at the marriage so it doesn't fail? Because as long as you're in the marriage, the money belongs to the both of you. And also, Rachel Cruz, I believe she's a Christian.
Evil is just a tool, and he's using it as a weapon to say, well, you should be you're ungrateful.
You should be great. Yeah,
that part gave me the ick for sure. But I think there is a compromise.
Did this guy just say he got the ick? What are we doing, man? How do you get the ick as a guy? As a reasonable, logical guy, how do you get the ick? Explain the ick to me. So say you explain the ick to me. Why don't you just say those words instead of saying the ick? The ick is a stupid term people use to describe something that is indescribable. You just feel nasty about it. It feels gross. The situation doesn't feel right. Then say it. Be logical about it. It sounds like she had a story for them and he was saying, don't be ungrateful. Is being ungrateful a mean word to say now to someone who is being ungrateful? Hey, look, I love you. I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Now let's talk about the logistics of things. I have to take care of you and the 2 kids who aren't mine. this is my first marriage. This is your second marriage. You're coming in with some kind of their assets, their things that I have to divide up between you and I, potentially your kids. We might have a family. Now I have to consider this and this and this. And my kids maybe not getting along with your kids, and you holding some power over your kids where you're not allowing me to step in and be a father figure or be a disciplinarian if I want to be or if I need to be for your kids. Like, there are a lot of logistics that this woman is covering up with the story of him saying you're being ungrateful, because she is. As a single mother, go out there and work if you want to. Go out there and work your butt off. Send your kids to school, send your kids to daycare all day, and then come back home, be tired, and have to take care of your kids and cook and be healthy if you want your kids to be healthy and yourself, and do everything around that. You can go out there and be a single mother. It's possible. Many mothers have done it. It's not a good thing. I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, but you can go out there and do it. So if he's coming in with $2 million that he's saying it's going to be both of ours, since we're growing old and we can do a whole bunch of, it's going to be ours. But I do want to say, if you want to divorce me later on, that money does not belong to you. It's my money that I worked hard for. And she's saying, I feel like that's not a good thing for you to do. As your wife that you're going to be marrying, I should be able to take half of that money per the government. This is the whole problem here. The government is going to decide how much money of his is going to go with her if she ever decided to divorce for whatever reason. That's the problem here. That's what he's actually protecting himself against. Not you, but the government, who gets to decide what he does with his money. So you telling him that, honey, I really think that you should allow the government to dictate what happens if you were ever to file for a divorce, or if I were to ever file for a divorce. I think you should let the government decide what you should do with your money for me. That's what he's protecting himself against. And you saying that actually does make you ungrateful, because this man has to take on a lot of responsibility, and he has to be on the back foot in terms of taking you on as a wife, because now he has to take on someone else's kids, and now he has to plan out for the future. If this man already has assets planned out for him at $2 million or more, which most people probably won't even be able to do it by 40 years old, you have to understand he's worked hard and smart for his money. So if he's saying that you're being ungrateful for putting him in a situation where he's going to lose a lot of that money, a lot of his assets, and be in a position to where you take that money that didn't even belong to you in the first place, if that makes you ungrateful, then you are ungrateful, because you don't appreciate how much he's putting at risk by marrying you. And then you get on air to vent to these people. You can't even solve the problem between you and the guy. You don't deserve to be with someone who's able to take care of you at this level. You don't have understanding. You have to seek understanding. And this guy talking about he got the ick. Bro, stop. Like, he's probably surrounded by a lot of women and he can't voice himself as a guy. What do you mean the ick, bro? Have you thought about this? You guys are a finance show and you're here telling people, I got the ick about your man. This was a complete L for her and this dude, because that is horrible and atrocious. That is horrible advice. This woman should go back to this man and say, hey, I'm sorry. I wasn't being very understanding of you. I am not going to allow the government to come into our finances and make you do what you don't want to do. If I were to ask for a divorce, or if you were to ask for a divorce, it's his money. It was his money before you met him, and it should stay his money. If you guys got some value out of that, drop a comment, drop a like, and share with someone who might think prenup is a bad idea, because it's a good idea. It's a great idea. The government should keep their hands off marriages when they're breakups. It should be handled by the same people who married you guys, the church, a pastor, someone who is a mentor of some sort. That's the difference between a prenup and the government taking all the man's money away. A lot of the times that's what happens in a marriage anyway. Appreciate you guys. Peace.